Welcome. In this video, I'll walk through how to create and manage service providers and resources, as well as a brief overview of managing availability with scheduling. First off, I'd like to make a distinction between a service provider and standalone resource. A service provider is a person, or your staff, someone who performs a service, such as a massage therapist, a practitioner, or a technician. Whereas a standalone resource is a piece of equipment or a machine that performs the service without needing a person to be present throughout the service. This could be an infrared sauna, a tanning bed, float tank, or cold plunge tub. Also worth noting, service providers or staff have access to manage their own profile and schedule. Standalone resources, on the other hand, can only be managed by receptionists, administrators, or owners of the system. Most businesses rely on service providers only, so you shouldn't distract yourself with thinking about standalone resources if they don't apply. The Service Providers tab is in the main menu. The Service Providers page will display a list of all the providers in your business. The providers can be ordered by dragging and dropping, and you can also create categories to organize staff into groups. To list a service provider within a category, select Add Category. Enter a name and select a checkmark. Now drag the providers you wish to display in the category just below that category name. Any leftover providers listed above the categories will display on their own outside any category in the Client View and Company Calendar dropdowns. To create a new service provider, select the Add Service Provider button. All the available options are separated into sections to help organize the settings. We recommend reading the instructions associated with each setting as they offer insights into what that option does. The minimum information required to get started is the person's name and email address. The email address will be the email used for the provider to log in and manage their profile, as well where appointment notifications will be sent to. The other fields are optional. In particular, the address, phone, and birth date are for internal use only and not displayed anywhere other than this screen. The job title, though, would be displayed in the client booking screens. The provider description, or bio, is important because this is where you have the chance to promote your unique skills to your potential clients. This description is also made public to search engines so that potential new clients may find you through their online search. So be descriptive and use keywords that prospective clients may be searching for when looking for the types of services you offer. Below the description, you have 5 spaces for keywords. This may include specific areas of expertise, unique services that you provide, or geographical area your services are provided. These are also available to search engines to index, but not publicly visible. The next section is to assign the services to the provider. If you haven't fully set up your list of services yet, assign any available services for now, and while setting up the remaining services, you can assign the related providers. The notifications section deals with the notifications the provider wishes to receive and how. Each provider can choose to receive appointment reminder notifications by email and/or by SMS, which are separate from the reminders clients receive. You can set the frequency for up to 3 reminders, either months, days, or hours before the appointment time. Waitlist requests and client replies are special though. If the business accepts waitlist requests, which needs to be activated in Settings, Calendar Settings, the provider can choose to receive a copy of their waitlist request notifications. A waitlist request will always be emailed to the business email address regardless. For client replies, by default, if clients reply to an appointment notification email, that reply will be sent to the company email, designated under Settings, Notifications, Reply Email Address. If the service provider chooses to receive client replies, those client emails will be redirected to that staff member and not the company email. In the next section are the booking settings. Here there are options to control if appointments are automatically accepted or need approval, accept new clients or not, or if bookable by clients overall. There are a few considerations when adjusting these settings. If any of the services you offer require a prepayment, you must set this to Always Accept. The system will not force a prepayment for services that are not automatically approved. This is done to limit the complicated financial considerations if an appointment has been declined. And if any of the services you offer are set to booking options 2 or 3, where a client is not forced to choose who performs the service, this option should be set to Always Accept to avoid conflicts. In the invoicing section, add the service provider license or registration number and tax number if applicable. This information will display in all appointment invoices in the appointment summary section. This is required information for the invoice to be acceptable for health insurance claims. If the provider has a tax exemption, then you would set tax exempt to yes. This may be the case where the income of a service provider must reach a threshold before being required to collect taxes on their services. If invoices require the signature of the provider, a signature image can be uploaded and set to always display if needed. This signature can be added or removed manually from each invoice if needed. We also provide an option to load a separate logo for each provider. This is useful if your service providers are contractors and require their own branding. This logo will display on notifications and invoices. And of course, there is a section to upload a headshot that will be displayed in the client booking calendar pages. We highly recommend adding an image, as it helps to make a connection with your clients and make your calendar page look more professional. The next step in setting up a new provider is the schedule of availability. I'm not going to spend a lot of time here explaining all the scheduling functionality. You can check out our video on managing schedules for more in-depth information. Basically, the system requires some sort of a base schedule to be able to calculate appointment times. If you have a regular schedule that recurs every week, setting up your availability is super simple. If you have a more variable availability, this can also be set up using a variety of methods. The scheduling is extremely flexible. In this example, I'll create a basic ongoing schedule with availability 9 to 5 on weekdays. I'll start the schedule from the current week with no end date. Note that when you choose any date in the week, the system will always select Sunday. That's because schedules are set on a weekly basis from Sunday to Saturday. Now choose which days are available by activating the toggle and set the from and to times. These will be the available hours every week from the starting week onwards. If you don't have regular hours, you'll want to set every day as unavailable as your base schedule. Later, you would define the hours on a more granular weekly basis by creating other schedules that overlay the base schedule. This scenario is covered in Managing Schedules video. Once the base schedule is set, choose Continue. Next, you can set restricted times, basically break times or booking limitations to control when clients can book. And there's several options here. Then save. You now have a base schedule. And depending on whether or not your business has electronic charting or session notes activated, there may be an e-charting session notes template section displayed. This would be where service provider manages their templates to be used when taking notes for client sessions. For information about this feature, check out our dedicated e-chart and session notes video. Another optional feature, if you do virtual sessions, is to link your Zoom account to your service provider profile. Once linked, you can create video services that automatically generate Zoom meetings accessible directly from your Click for Time calendar. Check out the info about setting up video conferencing Zoom. There are a couple of other considerations to be aware of when managing service providers. First is that when a provider is created, they are assigned service provider permissions, which allow them access to log into their profile to manage only their own schedule and appointments. If a provider needs additional permissions to view other providers' appointments or charts, those can be adjusted by the business owner from Settings, Permissions. Secondly, if a provider leaves the business, they should be set to inactive to prevent them from being able to access the business admin. Looking really quickly at standalone resources here in Resources Standalone, the setup and management is almost identical to the service providers. You can follow the same instructions to create, manage, assign services, and set up schedules. The main difference is that a standalone resource is not linked to a specific person and email address. It's a resource managed by the business overall. Well, that covers it. If you have any further questions about managing service providers, please don't hesitate to email us at support@clickfortime.com. We love hearing from you. Thanks for taking the time to watch. We look forward to helping you grow your business.